Hey guys, and welcome back to another video of ECK Sports, and today I am back at it, and this time I'm going to do my 2024 MLW playoff predictions. It has been a fantastic 2024 season, and now it is time to see who will claim that trophy. Now, of course, starting in the AL with the ALDS, it is the Magic and the Cobras. Now, the Magic had a pretty rocky season. They went 6-9, and as many expected, 2023, where they won the championship, would end up looking like a fluke. As outside of Grant Miller on the hitting side and RJ Walgate for pitching, they really did not have much, as Trevor Bonham's 2023 season was clearly not repeatable, and you did not see production in big spots from guys like AJ Ackerman and Jack Agner, which caused this team to be where they are. And then for the Coastal Cobras, they were a big surprise. I expected the Cobras to go 2-13, and they ended up going 5-10, which is not great, but definitely a lot better than I was expecting them to be. And in the first half, their offense was incredible. You saw a lot of great production from guys like Andy Durant, Brendan Baranowski, Justin Esch. However, in the second half, their offense did fall off, and their pitching has been very below average for the entire season. Now, earlier this year in Slate 2, the Cobras and Magic played in the regular season, and the Magic did win that series 2-1. The Cobras' offense looked great in that series. Both the Baranowski brothers could not throw a strike, and neither could Trevor Bonham, which is why I would expect that you see Caden Irwin and RJ Walgate go all 2 or 3 games, depending on how long it goes in the series, because honestly, I just don't know how Drew Davis or Jack Agner could really trust Brendan Baranowski or Trevor Bonham in the series, unless maybe we see them go head-to-head, which that game would probably be very high scoring. This is likely going to be a pretty low scoring series. I mean, neither of these teams hitting is that great. Neither of these teams pitching is that great either. I mean, there's a reason why these two teams are as bad as they are and really should not be in the playoffs, but the AL is just really, really bad. In this series, I think it's going to depend on if Caden can throw strikes, because if he can, I think that gives him more flexibility to walk a guy like Grant Miller. But at the same time, do you really trust him to throw strikes? And for the Magic side, you got to get other guys going in that offense. I think that's the only way they win that series. I'm not confident in either offense, but I am more confident in RJ than I am in Caden, which is why I'm going to go with the Magic in 3 games. Now, on the NL side with the NLDS, we have the Midwest Mallards and the Eastern Eagles. Now, this matchup has been dominated by the Eagles ever since Jordan Robles got drafted, and in the regular season, the Eagles did win that series 2-1. Preston really struggled. They got on Robles, which was really Robles' first bad series pitching-wise of the year, and I just see this trend continuing. I'm going to go with the Eagles in 2 games. They have just completely manhandled them. I just don't see what else Robles really has in his bag that can fool these Eagles. They've seen him so much. They've hit him well every time, and the Eagles are the only team that Robles continuously struggles against. And the Mallards' offense has been a huge letdown. Tommy, Jorge, and Robles have not been as good as we expected them to be. And then when it comes to Preston, I mean, Preston is their best hitter somehow. You could see a big series from him because he has seen Dallas a lot. And it depends on if Blade shows up or not, but I don't even think it matters because the Eagles' offense is just so much better than the Mallards' offense. Maybe the Mallards do start to see Dallas more, but Dallas has a lot more stuff that he can go to. And especially with how much the Mallards' offense has been struggling, when you throw an elite pitcher like Dallas out there, I think he'll be able to get the job done. And then for the ALCS, we have the Pacific Predators and the Metro Magic. Now, last year, the same matchup happened in the ALDS, and the Magic swept them. Trevor Bonham, perfect game. That's what got them, of course, to win the World Series. This year, though, like I said before, Trevor Bonham is probably not going to be pitching, and he probably shouldn't. I think you're probably going to see Ryan and RJ go all 2 or 3 games, depending on how long it goes. This is kind of a similar matchup to the NLDS. And earlier in the season, the Metro Magic stunned the Preds in Chicago, winning that series 2-1. After, in the first half of the series, they were down to combined 9-0, and then came back and won game 2 and then came back, won game 2 and game 3. So the Magic have had the Preds number these past 2 years, but the Preds are just a much more talented team. He didn't do it much in Chicago, but if Crash is throwing strikes like we know he can, I think he should be able to pitch around Grant Miller. And I mean, I don't think guys like Jordan Curdy, AJ Ackerman, Jack Agner are going to be able to hit him. And the Preds offense is much better. And we saw how well Warda was able to see Walgate, and even Crash did as well. Overall, the Preds are just a much better team, both hitting and pitching. So I got to go with the Preds in 2 games. And then in the NLCS, we have the Downtown Diamondbacks and and the Eastern Eagles. Now, this is a very interesting matchup, as earlier in the season, after winning 10-0, the Diamondbacks came back and won the series. Trey Flood through 2 really good games. And look, the D-backs are a team that can fight back from anything. It doesn't matter if they're up big or down big, they're likely going to win. And they did a lot of winning this year, as they went 11-4 and had the best record out of everybody in MLW. The Eagles offense has been very dominant. This is a very tough matchup for me. I think this is the hardest one yet. I am going to have to go with the Eagles in 3 games. I think even though Trey pitched really well against them, I just think that the Eagles offense is too much for the D-backs pitching staff. And Jimmy and Trey are great, but Jimmy has not looked as good as he did many years ago, and he's been pitching to contact way too much. Well, yes, you have a great D-backs defense. Against a team like the Eagles, pitching to contact is not a good idea and does not serve you well. So if he's not striking guys out, and especially when you have a team like the Eagles who they'll put the ball in play and they'll walk, it's very hard to effectively use that strategy. And then with Trey, he hasn't looked as great as I would have expected him to after pitching that great series against the Eagles in the second half. I don't know how much he'll pitch in this series. I mean, he likely pitches game 2 either way, but even then, I like the Eagles matchup much better, and their hitting is just significantly better than everybody else in MLW right now. Now, for the World Series, the matchup will be the Preds and the Eagles, and honestly, this is the matchup I think everybody wants. You have Ryan Cratch, Dallas Allen, and both of these teams have really been in the thick of it for the past 3 years, and when they played earlier this season, albeit it was a kind of a joke series, you had Carson Urgaitis pitching, so I'm not really going to put too much stock into it, but the Preds did win that series 2-1, and a big question mark, at least for this series, is will Blade Walker show up? And based on just everything, I mean, it's the World Series. Like, he's got to show up. Like, he might not show up for the NLCS and the NLDS, but it's the World Series. Like, you're going to Dallas, like, he's got to show up. I'm thinking he does show up, and I think that does give the Eagles a big advantage, especially when you have that lineup, seeing one pitcher for 4 or 5 games. I think the Eagles are going to win the World Series in 5 games. Their lineup, like I said before, is just the best in MLW. Dallas is one of the best pitchers in the league, and if you have Blade there too, that just makes this team more unstoppable. That's why I'm going to go with the Eagles in 5 games to win this World Series. Thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure you guys hit the like button and subscribe, and see you guys in the next one. Peace out.